The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com
We were on the break!
with Ambar Garcia, Voch Lombardi, and Derek Eagleton.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Break presented by LG. Derek is out today. He'll be back next week, but I'm here with Voch and Tommy. We have a lot to talk about today. Before we get started, how are y'all?
Good. How are you doing?
Feeling good.
I get to work with Tommy Yarrish and Ambar Garcia today. You know what time it is. You know how I feel.
Yeah, say what you said
Phenomena.
before we started the show.
Oh, I was just telling Aunt, because I don't know if she's sleepy or maybe a little sick or something like that. But I told her if she just wanted to sit back and kick it, I can run my mouth this whole time and be a real good teammate if that's what she needs. But she said, "Hell nah, dog, you're not about to kick me off the show." She said it just like that. Hell nah, bro, you're not just about to kick me off the show like that. She said that. So
Voch likes to throw little comments here and there that just imply that he wants me off the show. And I said, you know what? That's not your call. So I'm here to stay until Derek tells me otherwise.
Ambar, I think you're
Stand your ground.
Ambar, I think you're the most valuable. The most
here
valuable
we
portion of
go.
the show. No, because
With
when
the kissing.
No, because if it's me or Tommy or something, we just end up fighting and fussing. We don't fight on that level. We just disagree loudly.
We have
You know what I'm
fun.
saying? We have incredible fun.
We have fun.
And then when we actually agree, I go, damn. We agreed on something. And it makes it special. So, I never kick you out of here.
Before we get started,
yes,
I forgot to do this yesterday on the draft show, and I apologize. I didn't realize it. Happy belated birthday to Mr. Voch Lombardi.
Appreciate you, bro.
Wait,
You had a
when
great
was your
day,
birthday?
sir. It was
Yesterday, March 3rd.
I was a bad teammate, and I didn't
Oh.
recognize it on the draft show.
Happy birthday.
I'm very low key. I'm not one of those people that say, hey, give it up for my birthday. Hey, sing happy birthday.
Really?
I'm not one of those people.
Oh,
I'm not one of those people.
interesting.
Actually, I guess Nick's birthday was like 2 days ago or something.
Yeah, it was on Monday.
So when people I was with Nick and Bobby, when they saw Nick, they said, "Hey, Nick, happy belated birthday!" On my actual birthday, I didn't interject and go, "Hey guys,
What about me?
what about me?"
Actually.
I'm very low key. If somebody acknowledges, I appreciate you. I really do. But hey, man, it's a I low key with mine. But thank you, Tommy.
Well, I hope you had a great birthday.
Nah, I went to work and I watched film. I'm tired as hell. Nah, but it's cool.
Part of life.
Same thing.
Okay, well, we have a lot of different topics that we're going to touch on today, but before we get into those, like the franchise tag, Brandon Aubrey drama, what's happening there, and also like free agency, some of the comments that Jerry Jones made in regards to how they're planning on addressing free agency this year, as well as some of those contract reconstruction. I wanted to ask you, Tommy, since you were all week at the NFL Combine, what were some of the main takeaways that you took from that week?
Yeah, number one, George Pickens got the non-exclusive franchise tag from the Cowboys. The deadline for that was yesterday. They placed it on him earlier last week in Indianapolis. That essentially means that he's going to be allowed to negotiate with other teams like a free agent. Probably the Cowboys saying, hey, go and test your market, see what it's worth. But at the end of the day, Dallas will have his rights still. And if he does stick around, that'll be roughly a cost of $28 million for the Cowboys on a one-year deal to keep George Pickens. I get the sense that the goal would still be to work out a long-term deal. Jerry Jones was confident, pointing back at his track record, saying that they have done deals with franchise tag players in the past, and they have with guys like Des Bryant and Dak Prescott, but there have also been some instances where they haven't. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes along. But nonetheless, the expectation is that George Pickens will be with the Cowboys in 2026. Another free agent of high importance for Dallas, Brandon Aubrey. You're looking at maybe a second-round tender. That decision will have to be made from a week from today, which means that if that gets placed on him, teams will have to give up a second-round pick if they do decide to offer him a certain contract and the Cowboys choose not to match it. Otherwise, I think he would be in the range of a $5.8 million deal. But my understanding is the Cowboys have an offer on the table for Brandon Aubrey to become the highest paid kicker in the NFL. Stephen Jones called it a journey when talking to reporters last week when it comes to that contract negotiation. It's been going on since the start, since before the 2025 season. We'll see if they can get to the finish line on that. I think both sides are confident that they will, and they want to work together. So I wouldn't be too concerned about anything there. And then just general buzz, I think it stood out to me, 3 young guys that just kept coming up when you had conversations with people of like, okay, we really think these guys are in line to have a better second season for Dallas. Donovan Izaraku, who's getting moved to outside linebacker. Savone Revel, who's going to be one of the guys that could very much benefit from a guy like Christian Parker being the defensive coordinator, given his track record with developing cornerbacks and young, talented cornerbacks at that. And then Jaden Blue, the 5th-round pick from last year at running back. A lot of questions about, okay, can this guy become more mature? Can he become a true consummate professional? And it seems like things are trending in the right direction for those 3 players. So that would be my big headlines. I know we'll dive into some more that came out of there here in a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let's get into it. You touched on Brandon Aubrey, and we talked about it last week on the show as well. And we know the little drama or confusion that was there. However, the reports are still true as far as him and his team asking for $10 million a year. The quote unquote fake report was that it was a $7.5 million offer.
That's for more. That's for way more. That's the lie.
But like you said, Tommy, Jerry did say he would like to make Brandon Aubrey the highest paid kicker in the NFL, and currently the offer that they have on the table would make him that. However, what is that amount? Because technically 6.7, 0.8, 0.5 would be more than 6.4, which is what the current
Bucker.
what he currently makes a year, which is the highest one. So when it comes to this deal, how are you guys feeling about it right now? As far as like, as soon as you start hearing just these types of comments, does it make it more complicated when coming into negotiating and finding something to finalize? Because we know the end result, let's say a deal is not made.
Sure.
He has the tender.
Yep.
And then that's a lower amount there.
5.6, Tommy.
Around there, 5.8.
It's that's second round 10. Let me check the official number for you. Yeah.
Yeah, but lower than 6.4.
Yeah.
So how are you guys feeling right now with the current drama in this Brandon deal negotiation?
It's 5.8 officially, by the way. I apologize for not having that.
Oh, I thought it was a little lower.
Tommy, you good, man? We be guessing all day over here. We should be throwing any number.
Throwing numbers.
We're trying to be specific here. No, I don't think there's a ton of drama surrounding it. I know that there was the $7.5 million report. His camp was looking for $10 million, like all agents would in those negotiations. You always shoot for the moon, and if you get it, great. If not, all right, let's work it out and see what we can do. This is not a negotiation that gives me a ton of concern. I think the Cowboys recognize how valuable Brandon Aubrey is. I mean, he won them 2 games last year and was a big reason why they tied against the Packers. So, rarely can you find kickers that can make those 5 field goals a game when you need them to and be that kind of weapon for your offense when you can cross midfield and be pretty confident in the fact that you're going to walk away with 3 points. And that's rare to find. And the Cowboys recognize that. I think Brandon Aubrey wants to stay here. He alluded to that at the Super Bowl when we talked to him, at the Pro Bowl when we talked to him there. I also said that he's going to be fairly hands-off in this negotiation process. So I would say that, the saying that comes around here quite a bit is deadlines make deals. And that deadline for the tenders is coming up next week, a week from today. So I wouldn't be shocked if something happened in the meantime between them.
$5.8 million that's a fine amount of money per year to give old brother Aubrey. Yeah, kicking is important. Brother Tommy, you ain't wrong. You know what I'm saying? Kicking's very important. But I think it's so many other positions I would rather be held hostage on. You know what I'm saying? If Mula and them want to give me a hard time about the receiver, all right, cool, man. You want to talk about Aubrey saving some games. Pickens done saved us some damn games. If you, Ty France, and you want to give us a hard time about Dak and, as franchise quarterback, one of the better guys in the league, sure, Ty France, give us a hard time about quarterback. But if Todd wants to give us a hard time about kicker and I'm the Joneses, I'll take the second round pick or whatever it is that you offering, because me and Tommy watching a whole bunch of film right now, and I can tell you exactly what I'd do with an extra second right now. I just don't want to be in a we're fighting to nickel and dime over the kicker, and he might be the best kicker in the league, but he ain't that much better than the number 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 guy. So I'm calling Kai Forbath, see what he doing. I'm gonna go find some rookie cats that's out here, that don't know what they want to do with their life, but they play soccer or something. Like, hey, if you want to come try out, and go find a kicker. Just like you found Brandon Aubrey, I would go find some kicker, and your kicker may not be as good. But that's why I want my defense to be better. So it is what it is. I
don't necessarily disagree with you, but I think that, and this is translatable for all levels of football. When I would talk to coaches calling high school games all the time, this would consistently be something that they would talk about with me was, you don't recognize sometimes how valuable a kicker is for your football team until you have a really good one. Like, if you don't have a really good one, you learn very quickly how much of a detriment that can be for your team. When you have a guy, it works better to keep him around. Now, am I saying that I wouldn't take a second-round pick for Brandon Aubrey? No. But I'm saying if there's a way where you can mutually work out a deal that benefits both sides, and I don't think a deal that makes him the highest-paid kicker in the league would be detrimental to their plans to, spend in free agency or anything like that. But I think if you can keep that kind of weapon in your offense, and sure, he wasn't, he missed some kicks last year, but you're also asking him to go trot out, hey, buddy, 64-yard field goal, go ahead and put it through the uprights for us. And, it's just not going to happen every time. But you don't have guys around the league, and kickers around the league are getting much better, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But nobody that has been able to hit it at such a high clip like Aubrey has from long distance. So I think that's a luxury that not a lot of teams have, and if you have it, certainly take advantage of it and try and keep it around.
I think you just used the perfect word, Tommy, is luxury. I don't think that this team has the luxury, I ain't gonna cuss, but to do squat. Like, you trying to build fundamentals. You need to build your defense in general. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be looking for a luxury. That's like, we're terrible now, but I want to spend $15 million on a kick returner, and all you do is kick return. Like, nah, man, I got to figure out linebacker. Like, both my starting corners hurt. You know what I mean? I got 2 first-round picks that can possibly fill it out. I don't know what safety looks like for this team. You know what I mean? And if you're one of those people that think right tackle is the issue, I'm not. But you just add another one to that issue, man. And look, I don't even want to make it just seem like I'm mad at the $10 million comment. I think $7 million is a lot. I think $6 million is a lot. Jordan Lewis made $10 million last year. I don't want a kicker to be nowhere near what that is. And if we talk about Brandon Aubrey impactful plays, like super impactful plays, yeah, Tom, you know, maybe, and we ain't fighting personally. Like a 65-yarder, he may hit one of them every 2 games. Every 3 games will maybe attempt a 60-something yarder. And besides that, his biggest job is to kick the ball inside the 20 on kickoffs. Like, dog, I'd rather take that money and pair it with some other money to give me a safety that I think can play. Your kicker wouldn't be winning you games if your defense was better. I ain't fighting you. That's my general sentiments on this thing. So he gonna end up getting like 7 or something, which is fine. But just in my personal opinion, I think 7 is a bunch to give to a dude that.
But I think, that's just kind of the market now.
That's the game.
That's where it's leading to.
Yeah.
And honestly, I highly believe that at the end of the day, when the time comes, a deal is going to be made,
sure, and
we're all going to be happy about it and be like, okay, great, he's here and stays with the Cowboys. Let's go ahead and take a quick break.
Late, my bad.
When we come back, we're going to get into the cap, the salary cap, how much there is there, what the Cowboys did to restructure some of those contracts, and see how much money now you have to actually utilize on the team this year.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. As a Yeti ambassador and the official pitmaster of the Dallas Cowboys, I proudly represent two of the toughest brands out there. My Yeti coolers are perfect for hot holding barbecue like smoked brisket and ribs, or keeping beer on ice on those hot game days. Customized with a Cowboys star, America's toughest coolers and drinkware are repping America's toughest team. Keep yourself in some good company and get your officially licensed Yeti Cowboys gear at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com.
Every day begins with a promise to work hard and to build a future. That's why we're here, providing the tools, expertise, and John Deere equipment you have relied on for generations to help you get the job done right. We're with you. That's our promise to you. Because no matter the project or the challenge you're facing,
we're with you. We're united. If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Cowboys fans, here's the game plan. Touchdown Tuesday at Take 5 Oil Change. Just wear your Cowboys gear and save 25% on your oil change. No huddle, no overtime. Just drive in, stay in your car, and roll out. You'll be tailgate ready in 10 minutes flat. Keeping up with your car shouldn't be a tough call. Take 5 makes it as easy as calling the coin toss. Take 5 is the official oil change of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit take5.com to find a location near you. Offer valid through December 31st, 2025. Terms and conditions apply. Valid only at participating locations.
Back to the break.
Welcome back to the break. Choose perfection. Choose LG OLED Evo. Check out the best TV in the game at LG.com.
That was great.
That was my first
That was
commercial read.
Amazing.
Thanks, LG.
Perfect.
I bought a TV from them. And
There you
it's awesome.
go.
You never seen them TVs, Simon. Don't even worry about it.
We're still waiting on
You will
it.
never see those.
No, I just got one and it's great.
Good.
Okay, you bought it with your money. We're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about something different. We talking about
Yeah. Thank you, Tommy.
You're
and
welcome.
this second segment is presented by blockchain.com. All right, let's talk about money, okay? The NFL announced last Friday that the salary cap for this year, it is set now at $301.2 million. That means $22 million more than last year's salary cap. And the Cowboys have officially restructured some contracts, Dak Prescott and also Tyler Smith. And with those two combined, they're creating around $47 million in space. And then on top of that, it is being expected that they're going to look at CeeDee Lamb's contract. And hopefully with that, it takes it up to $66 million available for the Cowboys this year. And I think there are some other players that they might look at as well to see what else they can do there on the defensive side of the ball. With that being said, you see all of this money that you now have available to actually use. And then Jerry Jones made that comment about, and I know people are like, oh, we've heard this before, this and that, but it seems like they keep pushing on that, and on like, okay, we gotta really go and do something. It sounds to me, they didn't say the word splash, but make a splash in this free agency. He said he could see themselves being very aggressive this time around. But what does that mean to you guys? What would you consider? Because we've heard the comments all in before, and that was, went viral and all of that, and people kept talking about it throughout the year. But right now, at this moment, hearing the potential of them being aggressive in free agency, what would that translate to you where you say, okay, they made this move. Yes, they were aggressive.
Stephen Jones said something interesting. It was at the combine in the hallway. Tommy may have been there because I recognize his voice anywhere. And Stephen said something interesting. Stephen was like, he didn't say it just like, he didn't quote it exactly like this, but he was basically like, when we're unanimously bad, we attack it to get better at it. If we were bad and we didn't attack it, we didn't know that we were bad. Tommy, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? That? So, all right, cool. I would say that we're unanimous. Like, everybody would agree that the Cowboys were bad on defense. And to be fair, when the wide receiver stuff didn't work out, Cooper ends up here. When your D-tackle stuff didn't, okay, they'll go get Quentin Williams or whatever, right? I can agree that when Steven says when it gets real bad and it's obviously terrible, they will make some moves. Your defense is a shining example of that. The Cowboys' defense last year is worse than that wide receiver situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's horrible. So I would have to agree that the Joneses would go and do something and make impactful moves. Now, does that mean that we about to trade some more ones and some more threes and go and get all these? I don't think that's what it is. I think they're going to probably get one guy that's going to make us go, huh? And I think they're going to try to get 5 dudes.
What position would make you go, I don't want to replicate that sound, but yes, that.
Based on what's out there, I would say pass rusher.
Okay.
I would say pass rush is that one guy that'll make me go down. And that dude with Quentin and Kenny and them, we all gonna go outside and celebrate and get arrested. But I think when it comes to the rest of the spending, I think they want to get a bunch of dudes that's right above bargain basement. You know what I'm saying? If we look at the Super Bowl, Kayvon Chason was making plays, technically. Kyrus Tonga was making plays. Uchenna Nwosu was making plays. I think it's going to be some players kind of in that range to where they can play. It's just that they're much better than what we had, but they may not be superstar level. But I can't see a superstar type level pass rush. I think that's their idea.
Yeah, I think pass rush is where you need your most help. So it would make sense if that's where you devote a majority of your free agent resources. But the restructures that they made today, that frees up $47 million. That still doesn't get them to cap compliant. They would have to work that CeeDee Lamb deal, which is expected to happen, like you said, Ambar. That would get them to $66 million. I think they would get them $10 million over or something along those lines. Don't quote me on that. And these are all expected moves, and there's going to be more because you've got $64 million tied up between Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, and Oso Digizua. Yeah. They're not going to go into the season with that. Jerry Jones said as much on his bus last Friday at the Combine in Indianapolis. So they're going to rework some more of that. Mm-hmm. They'll have other options where they can rework. I think they can rework Jake Ferguson and Deron Bland, too, if they want to. Yeah. The question is, how much do they want to rework? Because this money just doesn't disappear. You're pushing it out. And so eventually this money is going to have to be paid. But Jerry Jones made it very clear on his luxury bus Friday night. He is willing to take from his future to invest in the present. And my biggest thing is you got to show it this time. You can say it all you want. It's been said all you want. And you got to show it this time. This needs to be, if they're saying, bust the budget is what we've heard, borrow some of the future. They need to do it this time around because this defense, as we have very clearly alluded to and everybody saw over 17 games, was awful. And they are more than one player away. Jerry Jones said they're more than one player away. And he even said that this is not a team that he doesn't think this is a team. And the quote was, it would be a stretch to think this team is going to turn around and be one of the top units in the league. Mm. The caveat to that is they don't need to be. Yeah. They don't need to be a top 10 defense in order to win games and win games late in the season.
Mm-hmm. 15 to do it.
They need to be good enough to help complement this offense and give Dak Prescott the ball a little bit more so that he can throw to one freak show wide receiver on the other side and the other freak show wide receiver on the other side. And I think that if you want that, it certainly starts with a pass rusher first because you need to affect the quarterback. Christian Parker wants to do that. Everybody in football wants to do that. After that, I think you can kind of have some fun with it. If you want a veteran linebacker and you don't think some of these guys in the draft like a Sonny Styles are going to be there for you at 12, then you maybe spend a little bit more on a veteran linebacker. Do you want a solid corner that, we were talking about this on the draft show yesterday. Would it be better to sign a veteran corner that has been through the fire, that has been thrown on before, versus a rookie guy that may be picked on a little bit earlier in his career? The biggest thing is Jerry Jones knows that he doesn't have time to waste. He knows that, they've got to get this thing turned around quickly because if there is a window of sorts, if you want to call it, because it looks like there is, that they're trying to win in with Dak Prescott, it's going to be over the next 2 to 3 years. And they're going to have to really invest in the present if they want to take advantage of that.
Tommy, it seems like you really wanted to tell us about Jerry's bus. Like you had a story.
He kept mentioning.
He brought it up.
Reference.
And then he
Well,
said,
that's where we talked to
he
him.
said Jerry's bus, and then he came back and said the
Luxury bus.
Well,
Jerry's luxury bus. You got something you want to say, Tommy?
No, it's a cool bus. Yeah, it's luxurious. That was my first time on the Jerry bus.
Tell you,
That was
it looked
great.
like you want to tell us about it. Tommy.
No, I was just saying that's where he was. That's where he made these comments.
We get it. You were there. on the
Okay,
bus.
I'm sorry.
The luxury
bus. I did not mean to flex.
with the
like
damn lobster bar on it. Yeah, tell us. Tommy. I'm sorry, Amber. Go ahead.
All right, I have a question for you guys, and this is just more for fun because we don't know the exact numbers or any of that just yet. But if you know, there are like 3 categories when it comes to free agency. Those names are the big names, the ones that you would call a splash. Those are in the middle where vast majority of NFL fans would recognize. And then the ones that are at the bottom that you hear, oh, they signed so-and-so, and you're like, wait, who? Who's that? And then you have to do some research. If it was up to you, and obviously staying somewhat realistic of numbers and all of that, how many from, let's say, the top guy, middle guy, and bottom guy would you realistically, quote unquote, be able to get in this free agency?
So, Tommy, you would assume that the pass rusher would be around 25 to 30-some million, possibly somewhere around there.
Maybe even less than that.
Maybe even less. So, like from 19 to 28 million, you would say.
I would probably venture to say yes.
So that's where
range.
that's where your big chunk is coming from. You would say that they go next highest at linebacker or corner or something like that.
I would, yeah, one of those two.
And linebacker's going to feel like 8 to 10 or something, maybe, possibly.
Yeah,
I
would say.
I think everybody else is going to be anywhere between 2 to 10 or 2 to 7 or something like that. Like a couple of 2 to 7 guys. And then they're going to draft. And after that is going to be a bunch of league minimum guys, like million, like those when Kendricks was signed a couple of years ago. He'll come in and play for you. There are a couple more examples. Shaq Lawson, not Shaq Lawson, Shaq Thompson. No. Pass rusher. He was here anyway. There's some bargain shopping that they're likely going to do after the draft to fill up the roster even more. But if I had to guess pre-draft, Ambar, and they're being super aggressive, I'd say 4 guys make sense. 1 super expensive, maybe 2 in the middle, and maybe a cheap guy, and then they'll do their thing afterwards.
I would agree with that. I think realistically, the top tier guys, and there aren't that many top tier guys in this free agent class. I would say, but yeah, you're probably going to get one of the guys that everybody knows, and then really just try to fill the roster with plus players, not necessarily superstars and all pro type players, but guys that can do their jobs, guys that know where they need to be on the field, guys that can fit in the scheme. Fit is so important. And, Will McClay was talking about it with the fan last week at the Combine, is that one thing that we get wrong a lot, being the media, is evaluating fit on the defense and fit in general in football. So, they need to trust their guys like Will McClay and the scouting department to find that fit, and they have shown in the past that they can find guys who fit. There are also the instances where guys don't fit, but you're naturally going to have those. But this is obviously paramount to find the guys that do fit in this new scheme, and they're going to have a good conversation with Christian Parker to figure out what that looks like.
Shaq Lawson was the name I was.
Okay.
Well, I think this year, I'm hoping it will be very different than what we have seen in years prior. I would say it started with last year. I know fans, you guys like to criticize and say, oh, Jerry this, Jerry that. But I think we started seeing changes since last year in the way they conduct the offseason, free agency, and making certain moves that we're not used to seeing them make. And with Brian Schottenheimer and the new addition for the defensive coordinator with Christian Parker, I think it brings some freshness to this whole thing, where hopefully we will see big changes, and I don't want it to be like a developmental type of stuff. Hopefully it finds, and with the comments that Jerry has been making, it seems like he's also desperate for it to happen now. When you talk about Tommy, him making that comment of taking from the future and applying it now, you see that. So I guess we'll wait and see what occurs. Free agency does officially start next week.
Sure.
And we'll see what those moves currently are going to be made. What?
Tommy, when you're what?
Because we're about to go to break.
I'll ask on the other side of the break. I'll ask. Go ahead.
Let's go to break, and when we come back, Voch has an amazing question directed to Tommy.
Everybody trying to leave on time, y'all. She want to go to lunch. You feel me? Go ahead, y'all. We'll be back.
At AT&T, we guarantee our network so you can talk college football with your BFF while taking Buster to the vet.
Hey, yeah, I can't believe he ate the whole thing of chicken wings.
And I can't believe we're staging a comeback. Touchdown!
Yes!
Staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, you'll automatically get a bill credit for a full day's service. For wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers, must be connected to impacted tower at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
How's it going? You see that Cowboys game?
Oh, I watched. Been seeing some good things.
Totally. They have some talent.
Yup, some great talent.
And they got some fight.
Hoping this is the year.
Me too. Oh, I'm Cody, by the way.
I'm Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
From the field to the festivities, Lucchese embodies the essence of luxury and tradition. Handcrafted with meticulous precision, each pair offers unmatched comfort and style. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at the Lucchese store at the Star in Frisco or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Back to the break.
AT&T connecting changes everything. Okay, we are back on the third segment of the break. I am glad. I was gonna say Derek.
You glad Derek ain't here?
Wow.
Damn.
That is not what I said.
You hear that, Derek?
Boy.
I did not say
Be
that.
your own people.
No. I prefer when Derek is here. Okay.
Good.
You're always just looking for trouble.
Tommy said it first.
Looking to create trouble.
Tommy said that.
No,
I
I
didn't say
didn't.
nothing. Tommy said it.
Tommy, you better watch out because I've been on your side. Okay?
No comment. Hope you're doing well, Derek. We miss you, bud.
We're desk buddies upstairs. So, yeah.
You don't have a luxury suite upstairs? I just knew you had like a place to take a nap, a TV and everything. You don't have
Nope.
that?
She has her own luxury bus.
I do have a corner.
We're doing the...
A corner, so.
Corner's what they call it. They call it.
Okay. You had a question, and
Promise I forgot the question. What was it about?
oh my goodness.
Yes,
Trades and picks.
Boom. Tommy, when you were on the luxury bus that you didn't drink on, did when you were talking to Jerry, did you get a feel that trades were also a part of the conversation or the equation? I was thinking back on Cowboy acquisition a couple years ago. I really like when they took the day 3 picks. I believe it was a 5 and then like a 5 and a 6 or something like that to go get Gilmore and Cooks. I thought that was a fantastic way to use those resources. Just in case somebody's not blown away by the available guys that's going to be free agents next week, did you get a feel that Jerry would take one of those day 3 picks and go and get somebody from another team?
He got asked about trades on the luxury bus that I did not drink on because I was working.
What'd he say?
And he said, quote, "I don't know that I'd expect it, but we have the ammunition to be good at it. And I wouldn't hesitate to be good at it if it will help our team and help the timeline that we're talking about," end quote. So essentially it's on the table. It usually is always on the table, but it's going to have to be an offer that comes across the table that is too good to refuse. Like it's going to have to be something where they feel like you can dip into the future a little bit, but it's not something that hurts you too much down the line. So you do with that what you will, and we'll.
But do you think it's a situation where they're the ones making the offer to the other teams, or because one thing is just waiting to see, oh yeah, you're open, hearing what people got to offer, but are you the one being proactive in making those offers?
I would think that they're poking around and trying to figure out what asking prices are for certain things or certain draft picks or certain players. And then if it gets to a certain point where it's like, wait a minute, we think if this is the asking price, we can make this work. But, obviously in the past, they have said that they wait for the phone to ring and they feel like, you are in a better position to negotiate when
the other person
is calling you. So I would think a little bit of both. But it doesn't sound like anything is imminent in terms of like, hey, because Jerry has said in the past too of like when it comes to the deadline, it's like, yeah, we're working on some things. He said it last year with Quinn Williams. The year before that, he literally said we have a trade in place and we're not going to announce it yet. And then 30 minutes later was Jonathan Mingo. Yeah. So it can always change in a blink of a second, and this is the time of year where we saw the Chiefs and the.
See what Mingo
Mingo just hanging around. Boy, shouts out to Mingo, man.
Hey, he had to deal with some very poor quarterback play in 2024. I feel bad for him, but this is the time of year and leading up to the draft where you'll start to see those conversations ramp up. I mean, we saw it today with the Chiefs and the Rams, and so. It could be for draft capital. It could be for a veteran player. I would lean towards if they do make a trade, they go and get a veteran player that they can plug and play in this defense.
I think that's the one thing I would really like the Joneses to hit on this year is take those day 3 picks. And look, man, you can look at the day 3 picks and you can call them, darts at a board or something like that, just gambles, dice rolls, whatever you want to call them. I would much rather have the player that I know can come in and play, even if that guy is older. I would rather that player than we're wasting a roster spot for a couple of years because some 7th round pick that won't make the team. It just doesn't work out. Take that 7 and go get a guy and let's go play ball for the next 3 years.
Well, they got picks. We'll see what they make from those and see what they do. Because that's the thing. We hear it for years and years. We hear how much they value those draft picks. But then also in recent years, we've been seeing them make trades with some of those picks. So I'm very curious to see how they manage it this year. Now that Shoddy is going into his 2nd year where he's okay. He knows what the deal is. He knows what's going on. We'll see how involved he is in all of those decisions there. I wanted to ask you both, and I don't know how much you were following up with all the comments that Christian Parker made during the Combine week, but was there anything specifically that stood out to you guys as far as some of those comments that he was making when talking about players and scheme and things like that?
Yeah, Chris Parker don't want no dumb people on his defense. And I'm not calling anybody dumb specifically. But if you listen to Christian Parker, I think he mentioned it a couple of times. He said, man, look, this ain't, what did he say, Tommy? This ain't the YMCA or something like that. But also he don't want just height, weight, speed guys. Like you have to be able to, like processing is imperative in his defense. And maybe, man, in some other defenses, coaches don't want you to process all that much. They just want you to be able to run fast and play fast. I think Christian Parker is going to ask a lot from his players mentally. And that may be where we find value in some veteran guys or anything like that, as opposed to some of the young dudes that we're trying to find work for. I think they're going to prioritize smart dudes, and it's going to be interesting to see who they deem as a smart dude.
They're going to prioritize that, and they're also going to prioritize guys who fit what their playing style is. That's one of the things that stood out to me when we talked to Christian Parker was, he felt that sometimes we talk a little bit too much about scheme. I don't think he's as concerned with the scheme as he is with, okay, what's our identity going to be? Brian Schottenheimer said it several times. His players came up to him at the end of the year last year when they were doing their after-action reports and said, I don't feel like we had a defensive identity. And that was very easily seen on the field. So what kind of play style do they want? He was talking about, what do we want it to look like? What are our principles of play? How are we taking on blocks? How are we situational aware? And, the education behind it, Voch mentioned it, they need smart players and guys who have football instinct, high football instincts, high football IQ, whatever buzzwords you want to use for it. And that comes in the way of veteran players, or can come in the way of veteran players if you want to truly take advantage of what it is Christian Parker's trying to do. And Patrick asked him a good question. Patrick Walker asked him a good question of what are some non-negotiables that you have when it comes to corners? Because he has a secondary background. He's developed a lot of guys in the secondary, mainly at the corner position.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to be physically and mentally tough. I think that's where it starts. We want guys that are willing to tackle them, put their hands on people, and they can bounce back from things to make life perfect. It's a different position. It's a lonely spot out there. There's no Wi-Fi. So you understand that you're on an island, and that can be a lonely place to be, especially when you're getting picked on. And we've seen corners on this team get their confidence crushed when they continue to get thrown at it and they continue to have big plays put on them. And I think Christian Parker is looking for guys that have the mental fortitude to say, I just gave up that big play. Let's go to the next one, try to make a play the next time. Yeah. And that's hard to find, especially in younger players. So that's why we talk about veteran corners who have been picked on, who know that the ball is going to come their way and know that they're not going to make every play. You're not going to make every play as a corner. It just is impossible in this league. And so you need guys who can turn the page, get back on defense, and try to make the play the next time around.
Is turning this defense around realistically something that you're able to do in just 1 year?
Depends what your definition of turning it around is. Mm-hmm. Do you want this to be a top 10 unit?
Good enough to win. Good enough to win.
Let's say 15.
Sure, 15.
It'd be tough.
Top 15.
It would be tough.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be that tough.
I think it'd be pretty tough.
Oh, no.
I think it'd be easier to be top 20.
I mean, that's even top 20. I mean, that's still pretty drastic change.
Well, sure, yeah. Well, here's the thing. The bar is so low that, anything is more than likely going to be an improvement. I don't think this is going to be a top 10 unit this next year.
Yeah, probably not.
If they're top 20, I think you can. If you look at last year's schedule, I think you win at least 2 more games with a top 20 defense versus dead last.
I think you win 2 more games with the 29th defense in the league. Like, those games in the middle of the season were close. And the Cowboys, as unrealistic as it was, they were technically fighting for a playoff spot at the end of the year with the 39th. I don't want to talk about old boy, man. I talk about him every single episode of the break. I don't want to do it. But this defense was horrific. And I think with a simple change of scheme bumps you at least 10 places. I always go to the Patriots, for example, right? Them dudes was drafted 4th overall the year before. And then they flipped that with they put a lot more money into it than we did. But just on defense, right? They took some cool to serviceable dudes. They got some good play from their draft picks, and their offense went and scored points. And that made your defense a little bit better as well. It didn't work out when they got to the bowl, but our quarterback better than theirs. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, that defense was so horrible. You was in games with the worst defense I've ever seen in my life. Not just 30-second worst, but I've ever seen in my life. If you just fix up the mistakes here, the nonsense here, I think if you just make one change at one position, because I don't want to talk about Kenneth Murray right now, then you don't give up as many big plays, or just Trevon Diggs gambling when a game is close, or he slips and fall when this happens. If you just take away 3 big nonsensical mistakes, a lot of those games are different. So we're talking about adding 3 or 4 more guys and drafting 2 more guys, and your offense is in its 2nd year and it's going to be more effective. Come on, man. We may not have a kicker that can kick if it's up to me.
No, it will.
If it's up to me.
Will. It's going to get done. I believe
up to y'all, it would.
I believe in.
I really do think you can turn this defense around, and I don't think it's going to. You
forgot when we had like Brett Maher on.
I was around for Maher, and Maher was going crazy until he wasn't going crazy.
Right.
And Martine, Grammatica. I was around for all these guys. I know what bad kicking look like. You know what I mean?
My thing is, I think the NFL is this has been an offensive league for so long, and it still will be in the future. I think you need a good offense to win games, but I think when you've got 2 really good teams, like you saw in the Super Bowl, right? New England, Seattle, two very good teams who had very similar approaches, and Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones have referenced them a ton.
Mm-hmm.
What ultimately is the tiebreaker is who has a better defense. Seattle had the best defense in the league.
Yeah.
Seattle and Houston had the best defense in the league last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you truly need an elite defense to be able to not just win late in the year, but win everything. At the end of the day, that's Dallas's goal. It's all 32 teams' goals, right? If you don't have a defense that can hang around, and I mean, what you think about Seattle and Houston? What do? Man, do they get after the quarterback? Do they get pressure and really affect everybody's passing game? That is so important. And then they have the guys in the secondary that can make plays on the football, that make it very tough for receivers to get open. I think that is ultimately the difference maker. So you need a top 10 unit, I think, to be able to truly be in that conversation. Am I saying you can't get to the Super Bowl with a top 15, top 16 unit? Not necessarily. Every year is different. You never know. And this offense is good enough to, with a mediocre to above average defense, be able to win games, late in the year. But if you truly want to get over the top and be the best team in the league without a shadow of a doubt, you need a bunch of dogs on defense. And I don't know if you can turn this defense into that in 1 year.
Are you saying any team needs a top 10 defense to be there, or the Cowboys, with the context of who their offense is, they need a top 10 defense to be there?
Well, I think any team, you realistically would want that type of unit, and you need that type of unit to be.
We all want that, sure.
But I think where this is trending is you need a top 10 unit to be able to hang around in February.
Okay. I think in context of what this Cowboys offense is, I'll give them a little more grace. I think 15 will do.
I'm not saying it can't work.
For sure.
I'm not saying it can't
We ain't
work.
fighting, yeah.
I'm just saying that if you want
have to make that disclaimer every time.
if you want the higher probability for that, you're going to need that defense that takes away the elite offense.
I feel you, Tom. I got you.
So what I got from that?
Ambar behavior.
Not doable.
Mm-hmm.
Impossibly doable. We got both. I believe.
Well, Jerry Jones said it himself. He said it would be a stretch to make this a top unit in the league in 1 year.
Yeah. Quite the stretch. But you never know. Because when we go back to it, a lot of those games were indeed very close. So we'll see what happens. But I'm tired of talking about, oh, we're so close. No, you got to be the one dominating. You got to be the one taking the lead and taking control of things. So hopefully the right moves are made. We'll be back next week on Wednesday. And that Wednesday afternoon is when free agency starts, right? Next week?
Technically is yes. When the new league year starts. Legal tampering will begin on Monday next week.
So we'll get news Monday.
And then 3 o'clock Central Time is when the new NFL league year begins.
Just for context, is there a reason, is there a difference between tampering period and weekend and what happens Wednesday? Like, what makes that Monday and Tuesday different from Wednesday?
Sure, great question. Monday and Tuesday, you can agree to terms on a deal, and you can come to agreements in terms of numbers, years, those kinds of things. Wednesday is when you can officially begin to sign those contracts.
Submit the paperwork and stuff. I got you. Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. You start the talks.
So it starts Monday.
You start talking, mingling around, and seeing what's out there, what you can get done, and then make it official.
Fair enough.
Starting on Wednesday. Well, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. For Voch Lombardi, Tommy Yarrish, I'm Ambar Garcia. This has been The Break on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?